Asian Pacific Americans in higher education. Well, one of the things that very few people know is that when we first got together, Frank Chong, Dale Shimazaki, Audrey Yamanaka Noji, when we got together, Frank said we should call ourselves Asian Pacific Americans in California higher education. And Audrey said, oh, that's good, Frank, but I think the term Apache has already been taken. So we dropped the C and became APAHE, and that's how we became a national organization overnight. We thought we would be a state organization because our main focus at the beginning was to challenge what we saw as anti-Asian admissions policies, first at UC Berkeley, but then around the state. So we were conceived of as an activist civil rights organization, and that political activism, I think, is part of our DNA.
Oh, it means so much. As you know, I was one of the founding members. I was just a middle 30-year-old working in Willie Brown's office when we convened in Japantown in San Francisco with people, legends, I call them, like Henry Durr and Ling Chi Wang and Yuri Wada, and, to talk about Dale Shimasaki, who worked with me at Willie Brown's office, to talk about what we could do about the UC admissions issue. And we met with Willie Brown, and he said, you have to organize. These blacks organized, Latinos are organizing. He goes, the Asians aren't organized. And he said, if you organize, you'll have some political teeth that goes beyond the individual. So of course, like most smart people like us, we listened to him. We proceeded to organize, and it was very, very exciting to watch how many people actually, even back in 1987, 88, were working in higher education, but were largely invisible and had no voice. And then you heard, if you've had the opportunity to hear Pat Hayashi's story, Pat was one of the founders of APAHE. So really giving voice to and vision to what we were trying to do back then, a kind of a fledgling group of well-intentioned community leaders working with me and Dale from the political end, and Henry Durr from the community end, and Ling Chi at UC Berkeley. So Carol Hayashino was part of that group, who also was president of APAHE for a while. So it was a wonderful time to just learn from all these very, very wise and committed folks who had dedicated their lives, like Yuri Wada, who was a regent at UC. And so I really was just soaking it up like a sponge. And then who would think that one day I would be the so-called wise sage, or the OG, as we like to jokingly say. And so, one of my gifts is to identify talented people. So my find, of course, was Wyman Fong. Wyman and I worked Peralta Community College District together, and we became very close friends. And I talked to Wyman. I said, well, I want to get you involved with a group called APAHE. And he says, no, I'm not into that. And I just kept bugging him. And he finally came to a conference, and, he drank the Kool-Aid, as they say. And then Wyman would bring in new people. And in many ways, like a maven like me, we collect people. So it was we were fortunate. People like Audrey Yamagata Noji, Henry G, we were getting on in our career, but we were really wanting to see APAHE sustain itself. And all organizations have to bring in new blood, or else when the old blood dies, there's nobody to come behind them. So we're able to do that. And, then more people becoming college presidents, like Laurie Adrian, and, all the people that have become presidents, like Judy Sakaki, who is also one of the founding members of APAHE, Gabriel at DePaul, and so Esteban. So it's really been gratifying. And Chui Sang, one of my best friends. So it became not just a movement or organization. It was steeped in deep friendships that we had with one another, that where the common bond was APAHE. And to watch the generations go by now, and we started in 88, if you do the math, we're over 30 something years old. So there's been generations, and with Audrey and Henry doing the LEAP program, it's just a leadership program. It sort of has parallel, come together. So I'm just really excited about the future. Unfortunately, issues such as the anti-Asian violence movement, which existed back in the 80s, is now really getting the type of attention it deserves. So work isn't done, but APAHE has really been a lifeblood to me, and I'm just so grateful to have been a part of it.